How's it going, everyone? I just wanted to show you my little garage shelf build. This is what I was up to over Labor Day weekend, and I'm pretty proud of the end result. So I just kind of wanted to show you guys how I did this. It's a little bit of a unique build, but I think it looks cool. I think it's kind of quirky in some ways, but it ended up turning out to be really sturdy, and I'm happy with it. So, first of all, the first thing I did was I installed these ledger boards, and I put 2 screws into each board, stud, all the way around. And then it breaks right here where my workbench is, and then continues over here. I got one there, I got one there, and I got one there, all the way around. These ledger boards are 2 feet apart, so from the top of this board to the top of this board is 2 foot. Actually, it might be to the bottom. I forget how I did it. But just get an equal spacing. Go about 2 feet or whatever, 2'6" maybe, however tall you want your shelves. Just get yourself some 2x4 and then some standard 1/2 inch OSB will work. I put the factory edge out so you see a nice perfectly straight edge. I put the cut side against the wall. The bottom row of shelves is 2 foot wide, and then it goes up to 16 inches, 16 inches. And then this one, as you can see, it was 2 foot, 2 foot, and then I stepped it back to 16 inches. And that's one of the kind of quirky things about this shelf setup I did, which I like. And you'll notice that this board is resting on top of the ledger board, but I have it coming in and it's tied into this vertical member, and it's just using the screws. I decided to do 3 screws on the bottom row for extra strength, and then on these 2 where I know I'm going to be packing more weight because it's 2 foot shelves, I added in this little board with 2 screws, just kind of for some extra strength. I probably didn't need to do that, but it's just more for peace of mind. These vertical members going this way are 3 foot on center. You can kind of see, you can't see there, I just went flush with the end, but then you can see my layout marks. 3 foot on center for these. And then if you want to break, always break your board on a stud. If your ledger board isn't long enough to reach, make sure it breaks on a stud, and then just do 2 screws on each side. That's another kind of tip I have. And what I did to get these boards perfectly straight, and I actually double checked these, they are absolutely perfectly level. I measured from the floor up and made my mark, and then I snapped a line across in between these 2 marks, and I worked from one end and just went to the other and just made sure this board was perfectly on my can't really see it there, but my red chalk line. So yeah, my favorite part about this setup is how I built it around this workbench. As you can see, I have 2 foot here, 16 inch here. I wanted to continue my shelving, but I wasn't really sure how I was going to do it. And this is how I ended up supporting the upper level. I basically used the Pythagorean theorem. I figured out my a squared and then b squared, and then I got my hypotenuse, or c squared, whatever, I got that. Did 2 45s. And then I have this piece here tying into these 2 studs. And this piece ties into that. Once again, I used 2 screws just kind of for 3 screws just kind of for peace of mind, because I know that that's supporting all the way above it. And I actually got up on top of this entire level. I weigh about 185 pounds, and I stood on top of each one of these levels in between my vertical pieces. And this thing was plenty sturdy. I mean, these flexed a tiny bit, but they held me very well. So this is plenty sturdy. Some things I would have done differently. I think it looks kind of cool, and once again, it's one of the more quirky things about this build that makes it unique. But I would have accounted for this 1.5 inch, and I would have brought my sheeting out flush with the edge of these, like that right there. I would have covered that up. And then the other thing I would have done differently is I would have just, I'll tilt the camera so you can see a little better. Instead of having a break here, I would have done just one straight piece of 2x4. But what happened here is I thought I was going to step from my 16-inch back to a 12-inch shelf, but I ended up going just straight up to another 16-inch shelf. And that's kind of why that ended up happening. It's because I thought I was going to step back and this board would have been back here. But I ended up just making it straight. And that's why I have these little pieces cut as kind of like little spacer things. And then another cool thing I did is on this right side of the desk, once again, I did two 45 cuts with my circular saw and just added those in for added strength. If you can kind of kick that thing, and it's pretty sturdy. That's not going anywhere. But yeah, guys, this is my little build. It kind of sucks that these shelves are so crowded. I really should have done this right after I built them, but this is a few days later, and I ended up putting everything back on the shelves. But I really like these shelves. They added a lot more room in my garage. There used to be a big pile of stuff here, and it was just taking up all kinds of space, and it was hard to get the car in here, but now everything's stacked up nicely. We got our baby stuff over there and camping stuff. This is my workbench, which really needs some organizing, which I'm about to do. And then I got my book collection. So yeah, guys, just an easy build. The tools you're going to need for this are circular saw, impact driver, not a drill, an impact driver. A drill will probably do it, but in order to get this done efficiently and really drive those screws quickly, you're going to want an impact driver. So circular saw, impact driver, chalk line, carpenter's pencil, obviously a tape measure, hopefully some tool bags just to help you carry all your screws and tools around, just to make you a little bit more efficient so that you're not running around picking stuff off the floor when you need it. Speed square for making nice square cuts on all your stuff. You're going to need a lot of screws. I used 3.5 inch screws. I ended up using probably 4 packets of these. This is a 70 piece pack. So another thing I would have done differently is just get yourself a big box of screws, and if you can afford it, go with the exterior grade, because that's going to give you a little bit more weather resistance. And another extra thing you can throw in there, if you can afford it, throw some flashing underneath there, like window flashing, the sticky stuff. Put a little piece of that under each one of these vertical pieces, and that'll help give you some more rot resistance. So yeah, guys, here's my little shelf setup. I'm pretty happy with it. It's definitely a unique way to do things. I know a lot of you guys would probably do this different, but I just kind of wanted to show you guys how I did it. I'm a full-time carpenter / light machine operator, and this is how I did it. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope this helps someone out there.